So while I'm one of you, and if I were your CEO, I would give you an insanely large budget and free rein. I'm old enough to be some of your dads, and hopefully I'm not. That means I'm old enough to be your CEO. I used to be one, in the words of Mrs. Doubtfire, so I know how they think. I know the pressures that they're under. And this isn't a sob story for them. But a lot of the times when they do really goofy things in your eyes, there is a reason, and it's not just they're off their meds. That there's something else at work, and hopefully I can share some of that with you. Your CEO understands something. They know, because we've taught them this in all the other kind of areas of expertise that we do as destination marketing organizations. They know they can't decide this month to jump into the sports tournament market and be successful next year. They know this because we've taught them. We've said, you can't just be one and done. This has got to be a 2 or 3 year strategy because we have to build relationships. They understand that. They know they can't go into the religious market and have an instant win just because they got on the list and got into RCMA once. It has to be, we've told them this in all the other ways. We've told them that it's a long-term solution. So make them understand that this is no different. And one of the things I think I'm going to try to really impress upon you is when you're working and talking with your CEO or with your board, this is really about saying, don't say this aloud, in your head, say, I don't believe in your measures. But guess what? Let's use your measures. Let's go ahead and use them. And I bet we can still make a case, even with flawed measurements that are about print advertising, or about radio, or about outdoor, or about trade shows. Pledge to them that you will figure out a measurement tool that you both can go along with. Now, before you measure, you got to have a goal. And I think that's part of the problem, is so many of us raced into this space because everybody else was doing it, or because it was the new thing. You got to have a goal for everything you do. And while it may be a little squishy and hard to measure, that's okay. It's a goal. And think about the goal of the goal as you begin to plan what your goals are going to be. What I mean by that is, okay, the goal may be 10,000 followers. Your CEO is going to say, so? So the goal of the goal is going to be increase desirability, increase intent to travel, increase awareness among meeting planners, figure out what the goal of the goal is, because we get so consumed with the goal being 10,000 followers that we forget that your CEO is going to want to know, what does that mean? Because they don't understand. What I would suggest that you do is, I'm guessing most of you have an email campaign, and have for years. How do you measure that? There's little or no follow-up engagement in email. It's fairly one way. So how do you measure that? Well, you probably measure, my guess is, you probably measure in number of subscribers. How is that any different from what we're talking about on social? You're probably measuring how many click-throughs. Pretty similar to engagement. And probably to the offers, the specials, the packages, and the stuff like that, which you can do in social. Take some of the ideas that you've used to prove your email marketing campaign and just shift them over and make them part of your social, because your CEO probably is supportive of your email campaign. Probably puts a fair amount of resources behind it. Because why? Well, we've got 45% more subscribers this year. So, that means nothing, because there's not the goal of the goal. Okay? So figure out what the metrics are that are working in your shop. For everything else, email campaign, sales campaign, marketing campaign, figure out those metrics, and then try to figure out ways to apply it